Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Wednesday, May the 22nd. This will be our chart lesson for today. And all I can say is, wow, what a day. It's been a while since we've had a sell-off this strong. Will it lead to anything further, or will we just go higher from here? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it was an interesting day because we made a new high to begin with. I believe we made a new high. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we made a new all-time high at the beginning of the day based off of Bernanke coming out and saying some things around 9 o'clock. But I think by the end of the day, by the time people digested that, and then the minutes came out about 1 o'clock, but you could see the sell-off had already started by then. And really what I was originally looking at was this channel here, and you can see, but we went right through that. So somebody had the news early, it'll be my guess. And what I did was once we went through this line right here, all I did was just find an equal distance, and let me show you, and that's what I'm thinking where we're headed. We'll see. We may not get there, but let me just show you how I did that. I'm guessing that this is a center line since, um, and if you just measure it and then draw it down, and then you just get another copy and bring it down, that gets you to right there, and that comes right off that previous low. So maybe that's the other channel line. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point, but that's how I do, how I find sometimes if I think one line turns out to be the middle line. But obviously this didn't hold very long. It held early, and then we broke through, and then we're still headed lower. So my guess is we're headed to make a new low after this break here, and maybe it'll bounce off this line. We'll see. But that would be an equal distance move right there, and you can see how I did that just to make sure I had it straight. I put this on there, and you can see that's straight, and then you bring it down, and that puts the line down here. So we'll see if we end up here. We still got an hour and something to go. We may go right on through that one too. I don't know. Um, but you can see it slowing down, the selling in here. We're starting to find support again. But I thought we probably had enough of a break here, but obviously we didn't, and they just ignored that, and but we definitely got a break here. Let's see if we'll get a new low, and we'll see if maybe my line down here will hold. But I wanted to show that real quick before we got there, just so you could see how a lot of times, I'm looking for the next setup or where the next support line might be or resistance line or whatever. That's one of the ways I do it. And this one is just hard to know by looking at what you see here. We did have this channel which kept you on track, should have kept you on track until we got the break, and now we're working for the new low, and if we get it, we may drop right on down there this line and bounce. But we'll see. Maybe that'll follow through by the time we finish the video. We can see if I was right or if I'm even close, or it could be that it's right there and that's all we're going to get, but that's not really equal distance, and so that's the reason I'm thinking we still got a little room to go. And now I move my line, so let's just do that one more time and find the exact measured equal distance, because I'm just curious to see if that'll give it to us. Okay, I still got it pretty close. We'll bring it up. All right, we'll leave that there and we'll see what happens. We may be done here. We may go higher. I don't know. It's been a pretty good sell-off in what's been a very strong market, but obviously the traders didn't like what the minutes today, and I guess basically what they said was they were going to start tapering back, tapering back on the bond yields. Really, I think what they're saying is they're going to slow down on the easing all the money, the printing of the money and so forth. And if they do that, then we may be in trouble. But I don't even care about all that. It doesn't matter what the news is. In fact, I often believe they make up the news to fit the price action. So we'll disregard what they're saying. It doesn't matter. All that matters is we're going down. And until that's over, you need to be thinking short. It's really late in the day now, but I'm just not convinced that we're not going to come down here and make a new low before this is over. We'll just have to see. More than plenty of trades here. You might have even been done. you might even been through before this happened right here. I really was pretty much done, and I made a mistake right here, and I'll talk about that one when we get to it. And so I gave back a little bit here, and so I had to take a couple more trades to make it back. And but let's back out here, and we'll talk about what I saw. And there's no doubt we really were kind of in a trading range here. We're still going higher and making higher lows. I didn't like any of the entries. Really, the first chance I got to enter, I considered going short here because this kind of looks like a trading range. And so if you did see that as a short, there's not really a good setup there. There is a little trap right there, but by that time you're almost back to the EMA, closely back to what looked like the original channel. And if you just copy that and paste it, you can see it looked like we had a little channel working here, but we easily broke above that. And really what I think we did was when the news hit, right around 9 o'clock, we had a possible different channel line. You can see how it held kind of all the way up through there, and I think that turned out to be the channel. And maybe this is a spike in a channel here. A couple of different ways to look at it, but either way, you can't ignore this channel that's working up here. And there's a couple of entries right off. There's the first entry. This is a breakout pullback long, but notice how we were finding all that support, and we went higher. And when you got this little bitty doji right here, there's enough room to get out before this high, so I felt like that one was worth taking. That was my first trade of the day. It was just after the open. Excuse me. Turned out to be a great trade because if you took this, any of your runners should have been safe. You got another chance to enter here on a second entry, and this is where the news. It was this one right here where the news hit, and once it took off, you had a chance. It came back really quickly. Normally when you break out, it pulled back, and you had a chance to enter with a limit order there. But you may not have liked entering there, but when you got this failed second entry short here, notice that first entry coming off the low, you got two swings down to a new low. First entry short, move up, second entry short, and it failed, and you got a nice reversal bar. So if you didn't take this one, which maybe I should have made that one green, but you got this trend line, and we closed inside it. It was a nice reversal bar, so I actually entered here, but I used a limit order when it broke. When it broke above, it took off real fast, but I put a limit order and it popped back real fast. And somebody sent me a couple of emails and asking me about, just going to go back over here and look. Looks like we're still trying to go lower over here. Somebody sent me an email and says, hey, what about the news? I know you always say price action is still valid in the news, but is it safe to trade it? And that's the thing. The price action is still valid. But the problem is it moves so fast that you don't have a lot of time to read it. And somebody else sent me an email today, and I guess they have been trading time charts, and they went to a tick chart, and they said, wow, that's the fastest chart I've ever seen. I don't know how you have time to read it, but trust me, today was just, it doesn't always move like this. It was an unusual day because of its FO. And usually when you do have a very volatile market like this with high volatility, it's usually FOMC days, and those are the one news items that you got to be really careful trading. But if you're reading the price action right, I mean, you can be in and out so fast you can't even think, and that's the way most of these trades were, except for this one trend going back up. It was kind of a typical, prices were kind of typically back to normal there, and they really were to about right here. And that's when it all started. That's when it really started moving, and then once 1 o'clock hit, you can see how fast all that moved again. It just picked it right back up again. But really prices, we found this strong support back here, and that's what usually happens on a big news move. Look at that big move, but you always hear me say it almost always takes it back real quickly, and look how quickly it took that back. And And I should have been thinking here, and I wasn't, and I'll explain that when we get over to it. But anyway, this is a breakout pullback long. It's a failed second entry short. Uh, nice place to enter, in my opinion, and this one moved really quickly. Any runners would have been safe. I drew this one in green. It's a failed second entry short, so there is a trap, but you know, we're not back to the EMA, we're not back to the trend line, but you can see it worked out, took off. So I drew it in green. If you saw it, it's a trap, and man, the market's moving really fast, and everything's to the upside. It didn't look like we had gotten to the trend line or the upper trend line yet, and you can see we didn't hit it till here, and all I did was, all I did was draw it. Originally, I had it up here. I had it kind of like that, and that's probably right. You can see that we didn't touch it till here, and then we got the correction, and then we went higher again, and we had a failed second entry short here that went higher, and this is kind of a little breakout pullback long too. You can't really see that little tick in there, but notice you had all those. Actually, I originally had this here, and I moved it down later. But notice we broke up, pulled back, and reversed. And, you know, depending on how you drew this line, a lot of times I adjust mine. It's probably like that right there. And it still fits. You know, nothing's closed outside that line at all the way up through there. So, I mean, to me, it still fits there. But this is a breakout pullback long right here. Again, very close to the trend, but it's also a failed second entry short, which was kind of what we had over here earlier. So it's a lot tighter and smaller pattern. A lot of overlap. You might have considered skipping that one. And if you use the limit order, except right there at the top, you didn't get filled. And this one rocketed up real fast too. But once we hit this, it was all over, and it was downhill from there. And it looked like we were going to get a failed breakout here. You can see they turned and trapped everybody, and I just had that trend line drawn through there, and that's a nice reversal bar, closed on this low, so great breakout pullback short. And then guess what? This is where I messed up. I saw two legs down, which there are. There's leg one, and then there's leg two. And so we slightly overshot a two-legged correction, and we never really came back and gave this another test yet. You can see that didn't happen till here. I'd moved this down at this point because that's where we found resistance, and you can see that's where we got it later. But this was a great short. But I exited right here at the previous low when it bounced, and I reversed and went long right there thinking I had a two-legged move, and that thing turned down, and I took a 2-point stop before I could blink an eye. So I lost 2 points right here on this trade. 2 days in a row I've had a losing trade. First losing trades I've had in a while. But 2 days in a row I got a little overconfident and made a mistake. And I should have reversed back to the short side, but I really thought it was going to come back. And it did come back, but I couldn't take that chance. Once it was rocketing down here, I just had to exit. I couldn't take the chance that, hey, we might go all the way. I mean, we might have done like this, and see what would have happened to me if I'd have held on to that. I'd have lost all this money, and look, we're still going lower. So you can't take that chance, you know, even if you think you're right. And by that time, that was another turn off that trend line. And again, I should have been thinking there that, hey, you know, we don't have a break of that trend line yet. We finally got it here. We pulled back, but we didn't get a new low. It went a little higher, and then it made a new low. And there's your reversal pattern, a double bottom and then a higher low, a little breakout pullback, and then we were headed up. And really I saw two little channels here, and I think they're pretty much a measured channel. I never did even measure them. There's the first one, and so you're looking for your target up here, and you can see that's pretty much dead on. That's what we were looking for. But really I was looking for prices to come back and test this. Usually you're going to get a couple of tests off of strong support like that, and we just got one little blink of an eye test, and it was off to the races. And really I was looking at this as the channel, and we never really had a retest. So the retest was here, and we couldn't even get close to the high. We couldn't get back above these highs right here. So That was a telling sign. And so then what I was looking for was a measured leg like this, and then there's your correction. So I was looking for possibly, and you see that puts it right down here about where my trend channel is. And but we just, we went right on lower from that. So I was looking for a bounce off this line somewhere. So unfortunately I exited all my shorts here, but you got a quick chance to jump back in, and even more down here if you still want to trade, but I was done by that time. This was the last trade I took right here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But then we had the strong support here. Actually, I didn't talk about this trade. We had a little trend line up through there. I wasn't sure if this was the trend line or if this was it, but looking back, I'm pretty sure that was it. We got the break right there, then a run to the new high. We made a double top. I still was looking for this to come back, so I thought it was real dangerous shorting right here, but I drew it in green because it is a second entry short. It is a little doji right at a double top. There's even room to get out before you get back to the EMA. And if you took this, you could have gotten runners all the way down here to where it made this double bottom. I probably would have exited right at this double bottom, but once it made this one and couldn't get through there, and then I actually drew this line across there then, and I drug it up. And so, I was looking for prices to come back to the highs up here and test this, and somewhere maybe this line coming into play. And that's exactly what happened. Look at that reversal bar. We had the break of the little channel here too. I'm getting out of myself though. Let's talk about this one. This looked more like a little trading range here, down here at this low, but we moved out of there pretty quickly. We pulled back. There's a failed second entry short here. Notice this. We got a double bottom. We move up, turn down first entry short, and then everything gets above the EMA. And then a failed second entry short, and that thing reverses, closes on its high. I used a limit order right at the top. Good thing I didn't. I really was thinking down in here, and I'm glad I didn't, or I'd have missed this one. And it rocketed up real quick, easy scalp, but then it comes back and takes the runners. First entry long, pull back. We got the break of the trend line, but notice how everything's above and this is a failed second entry short here that reverses, so I went long right there on the stop, and boom, another quick move, and it comes right back and gets the runners, and then again a second entry long here, and by this time everything's still above the EMA, so I'm looking for prices still to come back and test this high and maybe even this high. But I had this trend channel, and then when we turned right off of that after the break here, we really kind of had two breaks of it. So we got a break and two legs up to a new high, a retest of this to the tick with a big reversal bar. I thought that was worth taking. I did use a limit order to get short here, only one tick back into it because there wasn't a lot of room there. You could have gotten a couple, maybe three ticks back into that one, and then off it goes. And any runners would have been safe on this one. I think even with a stop. Yeah, even with a stop order, your runners would have been safe. And off it goes. You got a little trend line. We had a break here, so I really thought we were going to come down, make a new low, test, bounce off this, and it was going to be a range day. But that wasn't to be, and we went much lower. That was my last trade. I exited here. That was my last trade. And but notice this two-legged pullback to the right to the trend line. Look at that huge reversal bar. The ideal way on this one was to use a limit order, and it looked like it was, excuse me, it looked like it was prices were going to take off and leave you, but it came back, and then it turned back down. There was a second entry short there after that trap, and again, it's kind of right off that EMA, close enough to the trend line, and boom, it was off to the races again. And really, depending on how you entered this one, either one of these, your runners were good, and you could still be, and look where we're bouncing, right off that line. It'd be interesting to see if that's going to be the low, and I showed you how I found that, so that was, what I was thinking we were probably heading to. But second entry short, then again, another two-legged pullback, so a second entry short. This one, I definitely, it's a double top, but that little gap in there, when this one ended I think it was okay to go short right there, but when this one ended like this, when it broke lower, I would have used a limit order, and it did come back before going lower. You probably didn't get a runner out of this one unless you entered right here, and even then, I don't know if you'd have got a runner. Yeah, if you entered on a second entry on a stop right there, then you were okay. Um, then look, another first entry. It's another little two-legged pullback, and then off to the races it goes. Again, I would have waited when it dropped lower. I would have probably put a limit order here. And when this one ended and we broke lower, I would have tried the limit order. And you can see you probably would have got filled on that one. But as bearish as this is, entering right there, even right there with a stop, you still got room to get out, I think, before here. So it might have been okay to enter on a stop there. 56.75. Yep, there was still enough room. And notice we got through that line again. So this thing is just really selling off. And that was the last trades I marked. We're getting, by that time it's after 1:30. We finally had the break. There's a short right there, and then there's a second entry short right there. And again, you're getting close to a little double bottom, but if you use the technique I did, I showed you what I was looking to happen there. And we're trying to find a bottom here. It'll be interesting to see if we do or not, or if we continue to go lower. There's still 45 minutes left in the day, so if they keep it moving down the whole 45 minutes, we could take back another 30 points the way this thing's moving. But there's so many entries there, and there's a lot of entries that were more aggressive that, there's a trap right there that you could have entered on, but I just thought, I didn't like it because it was on that trend line. If you didn't see the trend line, more power to you. I would have probably taken that. But, when we bounced right there off of that line and really it confirmed it up here for me when I got the line off those lows and drug it up, and then you can see, when we bounced off of it to the tick and turned straight back down, then bounced again, that pretty much confirmed it for me that I had the right idea and I was in the right place. So it was really scary going short there. And plus, at that point, I thought maybe this was here, but you can see that's not really the case. Maybe it is. Maybe that's another one of those center lines. But I kept moving this down. Eventually, I moved it to here, and that looks more like it to me, maybe right there. And so just like I said, there's other trades in here. Here's another failed second entry. No, that's not, because we had one here. That's a failed second entry short. There's a bunch of traps all in here. A little breakout pullback short, but these are really risky, and you can see they would have worked, but they don't go far before things turn around. And there's some other trades in here that but they're just really risky. There was probably a long right here, but we hadn't got back down to here yet. What I'm thinking is it was your lows. A lot of people probably saw that as your low, but we still hadn't gotten down there yet. So I just thought that was really risky. At this point, I'm still thinking, hey, maybe this is a trading range, but you got a chance with a little trap right here to get right back in it. First break of this possible line coming down through here, and nice reversal bar. So plenty of room to get out, and man, that thing just went on and on and on. I really thought it might bounce here, then I thought it might bounce here, but this was really where I was looking for it to go, and it really moved down there pretty quickly, and then it bounced right there. And see, but you never know. Just like this one, I thought we would probably bounce there, and it's still going lower. So there's still some people that are trying to exit this market. So we will see what happens. I did also want a couple other things. I keep getting a lot of emails about people looking to chat and Skype, and most of you know my thoughts on that. I don't like to, to me it's distracting, and I make mistakes in trading if I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing. So I don't like to be a part of that, but I know a lot of you do, and maybe while you're learning, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's too distracting, and I think people put too many, you got 5 people looking at something, and every one of you see something different. And or maybe 4 of you see it right, and others see something different, and then they put doubt in the rest of them's mind. There's just so many things that can go wrong. But if you want to get together, I know there's some guys that already do that. So what I've been telling people is just put some notes in the comments of YouTube if you want to get together. And you guys that are getting together, if you don't mind some other people joining you, if you see their comments that they're looking to join you, just respond to them. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. People keep asking me, why don't you create a forum or a chat room or something like that? But for the reasons I just explained, I'm not interested in doing that because I don't want to be distracted when I'm trading, and then when I'm done trading, I'm busy trying to do the video and all the other things I do. So I just don't have time for it. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. I feel like I'm doing all that I can do at this point. And so, and one other thing to add to that, the emails are really starting to add up again. And so I would ask you, unless you just got a real simple question or something, if you're asking about the chart or your trading, wait till after the daily video. And then if I don't answer your question then, feel free to send me an email just to try to reduce them a little bit. Like I said, I don't mind anybody sending me an email anytime. But when you get 4 or 5 people asking you about their chart every day, and I'm going to end up going over it again later anyway, it just seems like if you could wait, you probably get most of your questions answered. And then if you don't, feel free to drop me a line. But always add your picture too, because when you send me an email after the fact, I've already cleared my chart. And especially if it's a day or so later and you're asking me about an old chart, I don't have time to go back and look those trades up. And so you've got to send me a picture. If you don't send me a picture, you probably won't get an answer back. And it's not that I don't, trying to make it hard for you. It's just I get too many emails, and it's too difficult for me to take every email I get and to go back and try to figure out where you're talking about, and most of the time I get it wrong anyway. So you got to send me a picture and clearly mark it. And if you're asking me about this trade right here, you can't send me a picture like this. You got to back way out so I can see the bars but still be able to see the surrounding price action too, and then point it out. Say, hey, I entered short right here below this bar or whatever. Put an arrow on it, and it just makes it easier. If you do that, I can look at it real quickly and usually give you a quick answer and get you what you need. But if you send me that trade on Friday 5/17 around 10 o'clock, I don't have time to go back and find Friday's chart and figure out which bar was 10 and then to try to decide, hey, is he talking about the same time as I am, Central Standard Time, or is he on Eastern Time? So anything you can do to help me will make it easier for me to answer, and I can give you a better answer. So, and again, I don't want anybody to think I'm discouraging you from sending me emails, because I'm not. Just be smart about it, because you got to understand how many I get every day and how much of my time it takes up. And to be able to get to everybody and give everybody a good answer, I need to be able to do it quickly. So, again, that's the only reason that I ask you to do that, just to make it easier for me and so I can give you a better answer at the same time. So trying to remember if there's anything else. Let me just look here. I think that's about it. I think that answers most of the questions. And again, on days like this, on news days, just remember that the price action is still valid. It just moves extremely fast, and I like days like that, because if you get the trend line, maybe you don't catch these first couple of trades, but if you get your trend line right and you enter on either one of these, you're in and out of you make 5 points here in a blink. It's that simple. That's what I like about it. And here, you got a chance to make a lot of money in a blink right here. This particular one, you didn't get no second chance. I mean, I'm just trying to, I haven't looked at this closely. Maybe I don't quite have this channel right, but I don't see a break in a retest here. Maybe this particular channel is the correct channel, and we were so overdone. And you can see that, we just got so overdone here that there's your break and your retest. I guess that's all you're getting. So maybe that's it. And this just was, I'm sure you can probably drag this up and find, yeah, you see off each one of these things. That's just what everybody's doing, just like I showed you a minute ago. It looked like it was there. Well, no, we went higher, so let's go to the next one. It looked like it was there. Nope. It went higher. Let's go to the next one. And they go to the next one. And nope, it's still going higher. And so these lines, you see how these lines fit all the way up through here. And then finally we got a reversal. Let me just extend this one a little bit. And you can see we got a, just make sure I still got it right. Pretty close here. And if you just keep going up each line, and you can see that's probably, it's still, they come into play. But this is a good example of, why you don't counter trend trade. Because what are the odds of you catching that one right there? I don't even see a reason to enter short there at all. There's no trap. There's just a move out of this. You might come back and test this, and then you think it's going to go higher. The only reason I didn't go long right here is because there wasn't a good setup. You can see all the overlap right there, so that's acceptance of prices. And then guess what? When it broke out, what is it? What do we tell you is going to happen? It's probably going to trap you, and that's what it did. And I did like the setup here. It's a second entry long. We got a little bitty bar down here after two measured legs down. It actually overshot the measured leg a little bit, and but I should have been paying more attention to the trend line. But it was moving so fast, you just didn't have much time to think, and that's what happens. That's when you make mistakes, and so that's why I tell people don't trade too small of a chart, because even if there's not news, if you're trading too small of a chart, like a 1 minute or a 3 minute, it moves so fast and you'll make mistakes. You want it to move fast enough to where you can make money and not have to sit around all day, but you don't want prices to move so fast that you make mistakes. And that's what happens when it starts moving fast. So, when it does start doing like this, just keep your cool about you and remember the rules and follow them, because they still work. And you can see that right there all the way down. Every time we came back to that trend line, boom, it was a great entry. And even there's your break, and then you move to a new low. And will we come back higher here? I don't know. I'm about give up trying to figure out where it's going to bounce. But that's why we don't counter trend trade, because you got to follow the rules. I will say this: we seem to have a break and a new low now. But it's so late in the day, they may just keep selling it off or trying to sell it off or take it lower until the market closes, and then who knows, it may rally straight out of there then. But for now, I'd be very leery about going long. I don't see any reason from this point forward. I don't see any reason to be going long. You might have thought about going long here, but that's still a counter trend trade, and you don't know how many times that thing will bounce down a line. That's what will usually happen. So there's just no reason to be going long anywhere. Even though there's trades in here that work, you're just really asking for trouble. Just like going up here, you would really be asking for trouble if you tried to go short. There's just no reason. Even right here, there was no reason really to go short. Unless this was the original channel. But even then, we overshot that and just kept going higher and higher. And I showed it to you just a second ago. So, video's getting a little long. It's been a good trading day. If you didn't make any mistakes when it was moving fast, and really when it starts moving like that, you might be better off just to wait. Especially, really, the news started at 9 o'clock, which was right here, and this is where it came back. Like I said, it almost always, it's very rare that you get a news event that moves real fast, that it doesn't come back really quickly and take it all back. You can go look at charts over and over and you'll see that. And that's what happened. So really right about in here is when the market kind of settled down a little bit and started doing its normal thing for the ES. And then again right here it just picked up steam again, and even here it's not moving as fast as it did right here. You can just, let me just show you how fast these bars were forming. That one was at 934, still 934, 935, 935, 935. So that whole move took a little more than a minute, and then all the way to here took less than 4 minutes. You can see that right there. I mean, less than 4 minutes for that thing for the market to go from here to here. And a lot of times a bar will last 4 minutes. Let's just look right here from this low right here, 1019. Here we are at 1028 all the way over here before it really went a whole lot higher. So that's more normal. So when you got bars that are forming and completing, that's a lot of volume coming down through there. So all these people that got along were having to run for the hills, just like I had to run for the hills and take my hit right there. And it was all the way over here before I had the composure to get back in the market again, because I didn't like going short down here with all that support. But I didn't really see a good place to go long yet. I wasn't convinced we were going higher until I got that trend line and started seeing prices working higher. So just trade smartly. Don't be in any hurry, because you see, even if you missed all of this, even if you sat through all of this, look what finally came by being patient. Easy money down through here. Easy, easy, easy money. And so I'm going to wrap it up. This is 36 minutes, but it was a lot going on today, and I think it was worthwhile. Hope you had a good trading day. If you got fooled, hope you understand why. And, and that you didn't, the main thing is you don't let it hurt you. You take your stop and you reevaluate, you calm down and you reevaluate. And that's what I had to do here. I had to calm down, reevaluate, and start over. And I didn't really have to start over, but I had to make back a nice hit right here. So, in a couple of trades I had it back. And then I made some more gravy over here. So turned out to be a great day in the end, but I was a little shell-shocked when I made my mistake. And I've been doing this a long time, so people that are new or not used to getting shell-shocked, it'll eat you alive. So you got to be extremely careful. And, if you have a bad trade or bad day, just if you need to, get up and walk away, go outside, go get you a drink or something, and not alcohol. Don't be trading and drinking alcohol. Go get you a soft drink or a glass of water, and if you're a smoker, go smoke your cigarette, let your nerves calm, and then come back and start over. And you usually, when you do that, you'll come back and you'll suddenly see clarity again. You'll say, okay, I see this channel working up through here. I'm going to work this channel until you get the break in the new high, and it's over, and then you're working it down again. And you don't know that it's going to do this, but hey, you gotta follow the rules. And the rules said, really, we didn't want to reverse till here. And even now, I wouldn't have reversed. I might have exited down here, but I wouldn't have reversed. And we are getting back inside the channel now. That's what I figured would probably happen. We definitely overshot it, but that's not uncommon when you got a strong trend. It generally, a lot of times, will get overdone, just like it got overdone to the upside here. It got overdone to the downside. But anyway, I'm just rambling on here. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.